Hey everyone, it's Solo. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the SOLOloquy. It's Super Week, so this one's a little bit longer. And if you're watching this and it's dark outside, there's a good chance that I'm streaming over at twitch.tv/SoloLCS. So you should come by, say hi, and let me know your thoughts are on the episode, any feedback, and that'd be terrific. So I hope you enjoy it. Before we start, let's just all take a moment of silence for the death of our most recent super team. C9, 4 straight losses for this team. Many, including myself, thought would hardly lose one game. Now, there's so much to dissect on what the problems are. I can make a whole video about it, but I will just point out some of the blatant ones just to get the point across that the failures of this team are on just about everyone involved. Let's start with the coaching first. It only takes me about 5 minutes to look up career stats, and for Berserker to see Lucian is by far his worst champion in competitive. The same goes for Vulcan. On Milio hasn't even won a game. Not to mention Lucian as a whole has been the worst champion in the LCS this split. Yeah, we are picking it not once, but twice this weekend. We also choose to let TL play their best champs on multiple roles. They play Ziggs and Aphelios, who are APA and Jan's best champions and most played. Udyr also one of the best champions in LCS, and it's honestly baffling that the draft has gotten to this point for them. But let's talk about the players, because they are not exempt. I don't think any sequence really shows current C9 better than versus IMT. So let me paint the picture. C9 are strongly ahead bottom. They have a choice to play for Dragon or play for the top tower, but they choose to go for the extra gold. So they stay for the bottom tower and swap for the top tower. Plus they can get the Herald. This is a really hard winning position. They are already ahead. They're hitting top lane by the time the Dragon dies. All we have to do is not die mid. And Jojo died for 2 creeps. Okay, well that sucks. Okay, I guess we have to just back off. It's okay. He can TP back and we'll just play for the Herald. And we just blabber forces while they have TP advantage and they lose. Okay, well that's okay. Fudge can use his prio to come up and get the Herald. That's good. Oh, and he doesn't come, and their top laner comes first. That's a little strange. Okay, well now instead of being on pace to get all 3 towers pre 20 minutes and really open up the game, now that we're just stagnated, and when we actually lose our mid tower first, and we can't really easily snowball the rest of the game versus a comp that will outscale us. It really just looks like if the plan isn't Blabber runs at them and kills them, they just lack like a whole discipline and creativity from all members, but especially their solo laners. Let's move on. Let's not spend a whole episode talking about C9. We go on to FlyQuest. Comfortable first place finish. Big congrats to them having such a solid first half, even with the absolute train wreck of a game they had versus Energy. They've been the best team so far. In large, I have to give a lot of credit to Inspired and Jensen just for being so consistent and being so good in a lot of their games. So much praise to go around, but I have to say their bot lane is still a big red flag for me. They are getting consistently killed early in these matchups against Dignitas, for example, one of the weaker bot lanes. And sure, they come back and they play great later, and even sometimes they get some own, solo kills of their own. But I'm just, constantly thinking back, to that Energy game and what happened and how they just virtually lost it from bot lane disadvantage. And I get worried, how will they be able to stand up against some of the better duos moving on, especially when we get into the playoff series. But overall, I got to give props to them. Coming together as a new team and being able to secure first place in the first round robin is still exceptional. 100 Thieves. Somehow this team is tied for second. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It's not a somehow. It's really just called good coaching. So I got to give credit to my boy Golden Glue for really putting on a clinic this year. But I do want to give credit to the young players who have done really well so far, especially in the mid to late game moments where you would expect a lot of rookie mistakes. They've been really solid and have pulled together, a couple wins in close games. That aside, the harsh truth is that this team is kind of bad. They're kind of bad in games where they don't have a big draft gap. They've been getting blown out. And so my concern for them moving forward, it really just comes down to when that's no longer an edge for them, when teams catch up and get a little bit smarter, are they going to be able to stand up in more even, scenarios? And I think that will be the test of this next half for them. Dig is a perfect example of what makes a bad team. See, a bad team can do well, and they can do really well and put themselves into winning positions like games versus TL and even FlyQuest. But bad teams have bad players, and bad players are inevitable. And Dig's got plenty of them, and they always find ways to ruin winning games. You know, last week it was Exu, but this week Isles decided to step into that role. He gave us this phenomenal Tom Kench TP play that really put the game on its head. And you know, at least we get another Dig low light to add to the collection, but I think this might just be a weekly occurrence at this point. You know, a wise man once said, "Is IMT good?" It's surely the greatest debate of our time, and as of now, all we know is Tactical finally has some help. Ole looking like one of the best playmakers, and together, they're one of the best duos in the league. And Castle, of all people, looking like a rising star in the top lane, putting together great Aatrox performances. You know, it's shocking this team was so dead on arrival in week 1. You know, they're still going to need Mask to step up his game if they want to break away from the pack, but IMT's looking finally competitive for first time in a while, and I'm excited as a fan to just seeing how much they can improve from so far. Breaking news, Shopify, you didn't win those games because of Sion. You won them because Udyr is broken, even in the hands of Fake God, and the enemy team is turbo-inting their dives, giving your Varus free kills. I know this is hard to hear, but you're gonna have to find a different pick for Insanity. And speaking of Insanity, this guy took over last year, playing carry champs like Graves, Kai'Sa, and now he's playing like random tanks like Sion and Zac, and even Garen. This team, I just don't understand. What happened to this guy? You know, where's the carry potential? I feel like he's just playing himself out of the league, which is really sad to watch because I thought he was such a breath of fresh air, especially for them NA pool. And I think especially this team is the biggest case of coaching malpractice this split. Like, it's so blatant how bad this team is coached that I'll just throw up the draft versus Dig and it can just speak for itself. Okay, TL, can we just agree from now on, Jan needs to be on hyper carries? I think this team desperately needs him to be the win con, and I desperately want to avoid watching him play Lucian again. Also, who would have thought that Umti just had that dog in him? I mean, I knew he could play a lot of Lee Sin, but I thought he was going to come in as a game manager, and he put on like a stellar performance being kind of a carry and a firecracker in that game. And I think that that's exactly what this team needs. They need a little wrinkle in their game plan because right now they're so predictable. If he can be just kind of this X factor, I think they can actually make some noise moving forward. APA is still not beating the whole Ziggs allegations, being a one trick, and you know, of course I have to mention that, and I have to mention also that he's also not beating the Palafox, his daddy allegations so far. But at least something new is happening with TL. I hope that Unti can continue to propel this team and they can even do better. I can't believe I had myself believing energy was different this year. They're just like the crazy X who you think you could change and you come back to, and then they die bot level 2 and you wonder, why the hell are they doing this and what is going through their players' minds? I thought adding Hui would change this, but honestly, he's added to the problem. And it's not just the players, like the coaching staff also is just playing it super loose. They're drafting these high execution comps, like the one versus IMT that needs like some monster mid game from Contracts and Palafox to even get close to a win. And I feel like if we're gonna continue to mess around, can we at least like throw top of the bone? I'm watching this guy play Cassante every game, and his team is just having fun messing around, and I feel like it's borderline cruel and unusual. You know, this team is still the most entertaining in the league because you just don't know what you're gonna get, but I really was hoping that they would put together solid performances and get first seed, but I think they're just gonna progressively be middle of the pack and then do well in playoffs. Hey, you made it to the end of the video, and it's me again. I just want to say that I appreciate the support, and if you like the video, you know, like and subscribe, and if you have your own little like soliloquy you want to do in the comments, feel free, give your hot takes, give any feedback on the channel. I really appreciate it. It helps me improve things for you guys, and I've been appreciating the support. Keep on doing this and we'll get even better.